Cities Live, Firefly Lane is a new series on Netflix. It's about mothers and daughters and girlfriends being there for each other.
Our TCL movie guy, Paul McGuire Grimes, got the chance to hop on another Zoom call with two fancy Hollywood stars to find out a little bit more about the show and how they stay connected with their real-life friends.
They became to everyone who knew them simply Tully and Kate.
And for more than 30 years, that friendship was the bulkhead of their lives.
I'm curious, did you still film it episode by episode, or did you do like one timeline first and then the other timeline after that?
Episode by episode. So there were definitely days where you were Kate in 2003 and Kate in, 1982, all on the same day.
For me, sometimes I was like completely confused about where I was in the timeline, and not necessarily the decade, but more like, wait, what part of the decade is this?
You are so much braver than me. Your family, that is the real accomplishment.
What unique things have you two been doing throughout this pandemic to stay in touch with your own girlfriends throughout such kind of an awkward time of our lives? Because I think it is so important to stay in touch with people, but it's then so hard to right now.
I honestly, my girlfriends and I do that Marco Polo app. Have you heard of this?
I use it, yes. You can Marco Polo me, I have it.
probably come up on my feed. So we do that. I haven't checked it in a while, though. I probably have like a ton of videos to watch. And then we have like a text chain among the 6 of us that just, gets a lot of action right now.
But a lot of Zooms, actually. We've been doing, Katie and I have been keeping caught up on the phone. We've had some Firefly Lane cocktail parties about once a month. We'll have like the whole cast and writers and directors, the producer, and everybody will jump on and just spend like an hour and a half catching up. And people are, beaming in from Australia and Utah and LA and Canada. And so that's been really fun.
The music might have changed with the decades.
But the promises made on Firefly Lane remained. Best friends forever.
Well, if that tickled your fancy, all 10 episodes of Firefly Lane are available for you to watch right now on Netflix.
Where exactly is your fancy? Think about that.
Twin Cities Live at 4. Boy, it's going to be very cold this weekend.
Yikes. Good thing our TCL movie guy, Paul McGuire Grimes, has a couple movies that you don't have to leave your nice warm house for.
Paul got to sit down with the star of the new Netflix movie, Malcolm and Marie. Check this out.
Mystery. The unknown. It's what supports the tension of a relationship.
You're angry.
No. The what if factor.
You filmed this all during quarantine. What was that experience like, and what kind of protocols did you have to put into place to make this?
We were in Carmel, California, Northern California, and the resort, Carmel Valley Inn. We got tested before we arrived. We got tested when we arrived. 13 days or 12 days of quarantining. We had our own, the lodging was great. We had our own, sort of homes, really, everybody in this resort because nobody was there, which was nice. Plenty of space to hike and get around nature. Obviously masks on, but nobody was allowed to leave, which made it feel safe. We were quarantining, so that was great.
You know what, Malcolm? I feel like once you know someone is there for you and once you know they love you, you never actually think of them again.
Film is certainly heavy to watch and to be in that headspace. And I can imagine you as the actor having to live in that. It would be exhausting. What did you and Zendaya do to kind of lighten the mood, break things up a bit in between takes or after a long day?
I would bark a lot. Loud, random noises, which made people laugh at random just to get the energy back up because we were shooting nights. I'm not a big fan of nights. And she would always say, right before we'd yell action or right before when they would call her to get into her spot, she'd be like, yay. And I always thought that was funny. We didn't know if we were going to be able to act again for a while. We're in the middle of a pandemic. What can you possibly be complaining about? And that's the attitude we had. It's like, this is a blessing. It always is, even if there wasn't a pandemic, to be on set and do this. And she loves to do this just as much as I do. But given the circumstances, living in the unknown, this was therapy for both of us. So we loved it. We were shooting all night. We loved every moment of it.
Hold on to me for dear life.
Oh my gosh, Paul is with us now, and I feel emotionally drained just after watching those clips.
That.
Wow.
Well, you'll be emotionally drained after watching Malcolm and Marie. I mean, this is kind of an actor's piece. It's just the two of them, John David Washington and Zendaya, in roles that we haven't seen from them before. But you have to know going in that you're going to be watching this couples fight for about an hour and 45 minutes, and they both go through a roller coaster of emotions throughout this film. Like you saw, it's black and white the entire time, so it's gorgeous.
Looks beautifully shot.
It is gorgeous. And some of my favorite moments are actually when they're separate, kind of off to their own thoughts, and it's heavy.
Oh, gee. So do you walk out feeling kind of bummed out, it sounds like?
A little bit. I mean, the acting is so good. Like, Zendaya is phenomenal. And what she does, like, in her silent moments, just by how she looks at John David Washington, it's all there. And John David Washington, phenomenal, but his character is so unlikable that might turn you off. He's pretentious, he's arrogant. His character, like, is this awful director, but thinks he's amazing. So it's a lot, kind of a takedown on Hollywood criticism in general. But, I mean...
I'm not watching this movie. Paul, how many ticket stubs?
So 3.5 out of 5 for this. I mean, I love watching actors go at it, so I like that. I like the photography of it, but it's heavy.
It looks like you got to be in the right headspace, I think, for that. Okay, Paul also got to sit down with Salma Hayek to talk about her new movie, which is set in 2 different worlds. Look at this.
Picture in my head of a place. I don't know if it's real, but it has a feeling. And the feeling's real.
Original films are very hard to come across. And you know this just by watching them, you know? You don't have to be an actor. And so when this one came along, I talked to Mike on the phone. He always thought about me for this part. And he started explaining the 2 parts and the 2 worlds. And he was so full of passion. And I fell in love. I was a fan already of his work. And I didn't understand what he was explaining at all. But I was immediately intrigued. And I said yes without reading the script.
Greg has to learn a lot of really important life lessons because he's really stuck in a rut. What did you take away from working on it, the themes of this movie that you're applying to your own life right now?
The awareness to appreciate things. And then, of course, we live in a time of COVID and quarantines, and the little things that were so simple in our lives, like maybe going to dinner or maybe seeing someone smiling on the street, are gone. And it really makes you think about how much we take for granted.
You have to experience the good. So appreciate that.
All right, Paul, quick rundown of that.
Guys, I was really disappointed. It's such a high concept movie, a Matrix-like type of movie, but it doesn't all come together. And again, the character that Owen Wilson plays is confused and lost the entire time, and I felt the same way. And there just ultimately is a lot of questions left unanswered in this film.
Ticket stubs?
So 2 out of 5 for this one. Great to see Owen Wilson and again, Salma Hayek doing something different, but I needed it to come together. I was a little lost.
It is on Amazon Prime if you want to check it out. Paul, you're the best.
Good to see you, Paul. You can visit Paul's website. It's paulstriptothemovies.com. He's got updates on movies and streaming services. You can also listen to Paul. He's on the Colleen and Bradley Show on My Talk 107.1 every Friday. You can watch him on his YouTube channel that he's got. It is also called Paul's Trip to the Movies.
And TCL's Movie Trip is brought to you by Muska Lighting. Their designers are ready to help you find the perfect lighting for your home with ideas to match your style and your budget. They just want people to leave happy.
We recently talked about the national phenomenon of dads and husbands standing to watch TV.
Their arms folded.
Next, we have a Minnesota update to share.
Thanks to Muska Lighting for sponsoring TCL's Movie Trip. Replace old and dated fixtures with a new light and change the look and feel of your home. Our mudroom fixture from Muska Lighting is a total showstopper. We get compliments from everyone who walks through the door. Talk to the experts at Muska Lighting in Roseville and Eden Prairie for help finding the perfect light for you.